All right. So, do you understand now why you are so incredibly valuable in what you do? Do you understand how much money you are either earning for your client or saving for your client? How much pain you're preventing? It's pretty cool, right? So hopefully you're feeling really good right now, and you should at this point have a fairly good idea of what you are actually worth in terms of your services, and have some ideas on how you might be able to package up your rates to meet that client's needs. Okay, so we're going to get a little more into the detail, but first I'm just going to talk a little bit about the psychology, and I've got it laid out here, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through some of the bigger items when it comes to pricing. So pricing, we could write a book on this. In fact, there are a lot of books on this, but I'm going to give you the high level tips. So the first thing is, when it comes to running a business, if you want to earn more money, there are really like 3 different ways you can do that, right? You can, aside from having high rates, you can have more clients, you can sell more products, or make a larger number of sales, or you can work on bigger projects, so projects that are of higher value. So to think about it this way, if you want to go from making $5,000 a month, that's your survival, and you want to make 10, you can either double your rates, or you can double the number of clients that you work for, or you can double the size of the projects that you work with. Like, there's a lot of different ways about it, right? Does that make sense? So we want to talk about how we can optimize your rates and put them into package formats, and also add some other little upsells and potentially downsells for your clients. So I really encourage you, when possible, at least public facing, to have 3 different pricing options. You'll notice this is super common. If you think about it, anytime you're online, particularly on a website, and you're looking to buy something, if it's an online service, you're going to get 3 price levels, right? 1, 2, 3. People almost always go for the middle option. Almost. It's a natural law. We are sheep when it comes to this sort of thing. We're naturally drawn to it, and so that's a way that you can visually draw people in if you have a very specific 3 package service. So if you're a coach, for instance, and you have a 3, 6, and 9 month package, you're going to sell more 6 months than you are the others, at least when it's visually represented. Often when you sell it as well. But you can do the same thing with traditional freelance services. So what I did with my website when I was doing web design was I had 3 tiers. I had them with estimated prices, because I did custom bids, and I do recommend that you do custom bids typically for most of your clients. I'm sure we'll touch on this in a later episode. What is this, a TV show? In a later lesson. But basically, I talked about a basic website. So I worked with startups. We've talked about this. You probably know this. But I worked with startups, and a basic website would be $1,000 to $1,200 for just kind of the marketing stuff. And then if they needed product design, which is really UX, and there's more research, it's user-facing roles, then, that went up into the $5,000. And if they needed product design and mobile design, or what, I can't even remember now. It's been a while since I really focused on all this stuff. But I had 3 tier levels, and it was basically like an entry level. Like, if you're a startup and you don't need the product design, you just need the marketing help, it starts at $1,200. If you need all of the bells and the whistles and you need me to take over your product management team, it starts at $10K. Right. And so there's 3 different tiers, and most people did hire me for that middle tier, even though that I did custom bids. And then, so speaking of custom bids, once you have kind of your general 3-pronged package, you want to look at little upsells and downsells that you can add. This is one way that you can ensure that you land more of the clients. So assuming you're getting in the leads, which we'll talk about later on when we get more into creating your website and your marketing programs and how you're going to actually attract clients. If you're getting the leads in, and you're having conversations with clients who are interested in working with you, what I recommend you do is do a custom bid, which has multiple options for them. It's the same thing. It's the same premise as the 3 tiers. It's just personalized to that client. So if a client comes to you and says, you know, we're thinking of doing X project, you say, I'm going to do a full-on quote. You give them some reasons why they should hire you. I'll send you some examples down the road, not this one, because we're just focusing right now on the actual pieces that you can charge for. But what you can do is you can add upsells and downsells. Like, so here's your base price, right? So let's say they came to you and they want a website and the base price is $1,200. Well, if you would like me to do your SEO optimization, I'm going to add $500. And if you want me to do copywriting, I'll add $500. If you want me to pick the stock images, I'll add $500. And now you're up to $3,500 for the same website. You're probably going to do a lot of that anyway. You're just charging them for it. So that's ways you can upsell. Or you can add on little pieces, like you can say, if you hire me to do X, I'll do a web audit for you for the low price of $199. And it's just a way to increase the total value of the sale. That makes sense? Those are upsells. Downsells are things that if you give them that bid and then they come back and they say, you're really too high. We just can't afford it. There's no way that we can work with you as much as we love your work. Then you can do a number of things. You can try and sell them into a lower package, and that's by cutting features or cutting the time involved. You can offer them a discount if they're a brand new client. I wouldn't rely on discounts, but when you're early on and you really do need that money, what you might consider is if you come in really high and you're hearing a lot of people say, your rates are too high, you can start a little higher and then offer a first-time discount. You can even build that right into your bid process. I know there's a coach that I worked with. Swear to God, this guy blows me away. I got looped into one of his Facebook ads and booked a strategy call with him and went through this whole call with him, and he builds me up into the pain that I'm in, and he offers me the sell. And the sell is $10,000. And I was like, no. This is a while ago. Even now, that would be a really hard sell. But then I was like, oh God, no. And then he says, I'm going to offer you the scholarship rate because I really think you need this. I really want you to be a part of this program. And he offered me a scholarship rate of like $4,000. Well, coming from $10,000 to $4,000 was like, oh yeah, no problem. $6,000 discount, I'm in. So he sells me this program, this online program. And I joined the online program. And it tells me that's the whole psychology. That is actually the psychology. He does that with everybody. It's not a scholarship rate. That is his rate is basically $4,000. But the way that he sells it is by first giving you the value, what it's really worth. $10,000 is what he believes his services are worth. And then he tells you it's a discount. And only you're getting it because it's really important that you have this. And that I find slightly manipulative for my personal taste, but it really works. I mean, it's mind-blowing, right? And so there's a lot of psychology that you can employ when you're setting your prices is really what it comes down to. I've gone a little long-winded on this lesson. I'm sorry. It's just so fun. Point is, sit down, come up with some package ideas for how you can put together your package, come up with some ideas for upsells and downsells so you can increase the overall amount per sale with your client. Don't worry about how you're going to sell this quite yet. We'll talk more about that later. Just right now, you're doing the groundwork, right? And then at the very end of this lesson, once you have that idea, do a little bit of math. I know math sucks. We're creative people. You don't have to do a whole lot, but look at your survival goals and your thrive goals and think about how many of your packages you would need to sell to make those goals and make sure it's not something crazy. And if it's a crazy amount, you need to reevaluate or you need to look at adding alternate lines of income, right? So just super simple math here. If your survival goal is $5,000 a month, your package is $1,000 or your average package is $1,000, you need to sell a minimum of 5 just to pay your bills. But if your package rate is $5,000, you only have to sell 1 package. So go create some packages. I look forward to hearing about them. And again, if you get stuck, email me or post in the group. Don't lose momentum. Keep moving forward. I will see you soon.